Nice.
Yeah, and so anyway, we've got that branded segment happening. We're gonna have somebody calling in about that.
Yeah, so Crispy,
Yes.
I have a question.
Please
so
ask me a question. V.
Tell me,
Yes.
how is it that 45 has been able to kind of slip and slide and get away from all the allegations, the sexual allegations, but all of these other people like Weinstein and those are coming out as sexual predators and pedophiles, and they're being like, and Cosby, I mean, they're being like thrown under the mud.
No, hold it. First of all, you brought Cosby in. Okay. All right, so let me address that.
Okay.
The first thing is, I want to see some mug shots. Yeah. Because we've got proof, we've got accusations. I think they mentioned Bill Cosby's name one time. They should know he had a mug shot. He was in front of the judge.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. You know, if he did it, he's wrong.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, that's the way I am. I don't put it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But I don't see no mug shot. And these people are being accused just as hard, and there's no mug shots. It makes you think, you know, what's fair. But you know, the thing about it is, with me, is that our government, for some reason, after Barack, seems like they're filling up with pedophiles, molesters, all kind of little scary stuff.
Sexual deviance.
Sexual deviance. Now, I'm not saying that they weren't already there, but it seems like it's really coming to the light.
Why do you think that is? I mean, what is it? You know what I always say. Water seeks its own level. So if you've got one, all the rest are going to rise up to meet that one.
So I think the question is, I lost my sound. I think that the question is, why is it all coming like now? You know what I'm saying? What is that? Do you think you know?
I don't know. I mean, there is a change going on. I mean, I think there's a major change going on in the on the horizon or in the atmosphere.
In the world?
In the world, just
can I tell you
in general.
Can I tell you something? Listen, I'm gonna get a little deep here.
You gonna get deep, Crispy?
Because you know I get deep.
I like when you get deep. I like when you get deep, Crispy.
Yeah, you know I get in the world. The producer done knocked herself out.
Where is the sound?
She knocked herself out. She only gonna call 911.
Call 911.
She knocked herself out.
Let me get my phone and call 911.
That just sit up there and knock their own damn self out.
What is going on?
She knocked her damn self out. She was sitting over there and then hit herself in the head. But anyway, I'm sorry, we got distracted.
We did get distracted. Please forgive us. So here we go.
Yeah,
get back. Go ahead, get deep, Crispy.
She just
go ahead.
Bust herself in her own
Get
head.
deep.
Let me get deep for you for a
get
minute,
deep.
all right?
I love it. Get deep.
Now, she just unplugged me.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, this is top-rate professional radio business, I'm telling you. Anyway. Okay, we're good, Karima. Thank you. Now that you regain consciousness.
I don't have any. I do. Oh.
Yeah, she's close. She got consciousness.
I got to scream. Okay, go ahead.
All right, let me tell you.
I want to hear. Go ahead.
All right. Throughout the ages, we have always gone through the ages. Sagittarius, Capricorn, Gemini. Now this is real. All right. We are now about to go into the age of Aquarius. All right, this is just real. The Mayans knew it. The Egyptians knew it. If you know anything, you know, you know this. And every time we go into an age, there's great disruption in the world. Okay, some is stronger than others. For example, there was a time when going through the age, it was very smooth and beautiful and golden. They called it the golden age, right? Yes. Am I right or wrong?
I remember the golden age.
And it was really set back to Egypt when they talked about the golden age, and there was peace, there was, you know, it was a lot of, it was beautiful. Then there was a time when it was called the Dark Ages.
I remember the Dark Ages, yeah.
And folk were killing folk just for no reason, burning them at the stake, you know, just crazy. And, you know, the church was a part of that.
That was the Crusades.
Yeah, and you have a master's in religion, so am I lying?
No, you're not lying. That's the truth.
Now let me tell you why. Okay. If you look at it in a elliptical way, and so it's like a football. Okay, at the top of the football is the constellation of the Milky Way.
Right.
Right? So at the top of the football is closest to the Milky Way.
Right.
Now, there's energy that comes out of the Milky Way, and it hits us. Okay? The farther you are away from that energy, the darker it is.
Ooh.
So the Dark Ages was at the bottom of the football.
That makes sense.
Okay? But see, people don't know that. Don't get me started now. Dude.
I know.
I'm just saying. Don't get
might
me
have
started.
to reel you back in because you don't want to tell too much.
I don't want to tell too much because people get scared.
Yeah.
Right? They're talking about, he don't know what he talking about.
Yeah.
You know, without picking up the Google and Google it for themselves. But we knew about it in the 70s, I think it was, when the Fifth Dimension was saying, Age of Aquarius.
Yeah, they were singing about the Age of Aquarius.
You knew it was
They
coming.
Sure were.
And the Mayans knew it was coming. It was on their calendar, which hasn't been disputed in, I don't know, thousands of years, whatever the case may be.
Wow.
Anyway, we're coming around now, going into the Age of Aquarius. Okay, it's like gates in the sky. You know what I'm saying? And so we're going into that, and we're actually becoming closer to the Milky Way. We're going towards it, not away from it.
Okay, so we're going towards
We're going towards it. So the positive and good thing about it, it's going to get better.
Yeah, because you said the closer you are to the top of the Milky Way,
makes sense.
The better things are going to be. Because
Right.
the lower,
Right.
the worse off things are.
But we've gone through the Dark Ages, and we're coming around.
Coming back around.
It might not be in our lifetime, but sooner or later, mankind will go back into the Golden Age. So the positive thing is that we are going towards it, but before we go there, it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of upheaval. And look at what's happening in the world, the floods, the earthquakes, all of that's happening.
Rumors of wars and all of those things that were prophesied and predicted. They're all happening.
Right. So, and a lot has to do with the stars. You know what I'm saying? I've talked to you a lot about the Sumerians and ancient cultures, and they were very deep when it came to the stars.
Yeah.
They
paid
knew
attention.
About it. And not only that, they knew about the stars. They knew about the planets. Didn't have no telescope. They wrote it in clay.
That's amazing.
About the planets, how many there were. I think we discovered Pluto in 1930 or something like that. They knew about Pluto back thousands of years ago. This was incredible, especially over in Egypt.
Didn't they talk about some new planets that were just discovered maybe within the last 5 years?
Yes.
Like I remember that
more.
they're finding more and more.
Yeah.
But there's nothing new under the sun.
No, there isn't.
Nothing. Everything that is was.
And will always be.
And will always be.
It always is. But people don't understand that. We talk about this a lot, about how we have the arrogance to believe that we're at the top of the intelligence apex of evolution. Wrong.
Yeah. Well, look what we elected. That says a lot about. There's a lot about who we are as a nation. I mean, I think that since his election, people seem to have gotten ruder. People seem to be more on edge. Humanity just is not. People just aren't kind.
And they weren't before. We got to say that. It's just that there's been sort of like a serious uptick of it.
Worse.
I mean, there's shootings, the mass killings, it's amazing. And the thing about it is, those particular terrorist beasts are from here.
They're homegrown American terrorists.
And nobody seems to be talking about how do we stop them. But
No.
the only people we know that's getting killed over here mostly are the people from over here. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying. And it's crazy.
That's amazing to me.
It is amazing.
That's amazing to me. But yet we want to be so focused on somewhere over the rainbow, which is cool, we can be. But there's folk killing all up in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Karima said she got to roll with it. So we're going to be without a producer for a minute. We're going to be good?
So we'll be good.
All right, because we're going to hang together.
Yeah, we got each other. So look.
She looks at me and always shakes her head. I don't know, I cause her stress. Every time she looks, she said, I got to go. I don't know what that means. I don't know. But go ahead. What were you saying? Sorry.
I'm still just trying to figure out how 45 has been able to talk about grabbing women and, you know, kind of doing whatever he wants
He
to
said
do.
grabbing them by the pussy.
He did. And now
and we voted him in.
And we voted him in.
But what would have happened if Obama had said, I'm going to grab the pussy?
First of all, Michelle would have kicked.
No, they would have brought back public hanging.
They would have brought back public hanging.
Yeah, they would have had in the square. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
That's true. You're right. You know, you're right.
He had to be 100% perfect. And it still hated him. Still hated him.
And still hating on him today.
Today. And he's in Tahiti smoking a joint.
No, that was a joke. You know, no. Yeah. But, you know, and 45 wants to undo
everything he did.
Everything he did.
Everything.
Everything.
Let me tell you this. Did you know that Michelle Obama did the lunch for schools, healthy lunch for schools? He took that away. He took that away
because they said that people have a right to give their kids whatever they want. But you know, I always say it was because of them that we found out about the genetically modified food. Because we really didn't know about the genetically modified foods. Nobody really talked about, you know, how tilapia wasn't good for you and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't until they got in office and really encouraged people to start reading boxes and reading what they're eating.
Yeah, well, you know, people did know though. I mean,
you think?
Well, I knew, and a lot of people I talked to knew. Look, we have to take it upon ourselves and have the responsibility to. We're responsible for our own health. That's what I believe. Because if you depend on them, every week it's something that's different.
It is.
You remember when they had like eggs are bad for you.
Eggs are bad.
That'll go for 3 months.
Right.
And then come back, eggs are good for you. They so good for you. And then come back 3 months later, eggs, no, don't do it, high cholesterol. 3 months later, who said high cholesterol? It's good for you, man. Let me tell you. These people have you running around like in a washing machine.
But they ain't saying that about tilapia. They are not. You know,
I
always say,
you finna bust.
What food did my grandfather fish? And if my grandfather didn't fish it, I'm not eating it.
That's true. I never heard of tilapia when I was growing up.
I never heard of it when I was in Chicago.
Listen.
We never heard of tilapia. And it's the cheapest fish out there. You go to the grocery store, it's like $2.
Black folks killing tilapia.
And they are. It's like, do you
tilapia.
know what you're eating?
Well, you know, I say you have to be responsible. I don't want to be like we're preaching or nothing like that. But listen, I do this because my fans on my page who I love know
and I'm
that
loving
I'm
them too.
Yeah.
I'm starting to love your people
good.
too.
I'm telling you, I got the best Facebook friends
on
the planet.
Friends. And some of them have come over and become my Facebook friends.
Would say what?
Yes.
They don't. What?
Yes.
I want names, B.
I will not give names.
I want names, B.
But I just want to say, I see you, boo.
You see me, boo. What the hell? Well, who went over to the other side? Let me see. Who's
they're not going to the other side. We're just sharing friends, Crispy. What's a couple of friends between friends?
Well, I'm not into that, B. I don't. That's your freaky ass. Anyway, so listen.
It ain't even like that.
I'm not even going. I'm
saying is you have some friends who are friends of mine.
Hey, there's Margaret Farrar. Listen,
hey, Margaret.
Been with me for a long time. Tess Taylor. Oh, that's a pretty girl. She's a gorgeous young lady.
Aww.
Francis Quinita, I love y'all too. We love you, Francis. Yeah, these are seeds. That's why I say, man.
We love you.
My Facebook friends are the best.
That's so sweet. They are sweet, but they are coming over.
Just said what?
Yeah.
Oh, see that's.
They coming over.
I don't believe that. And see, and while you talking like that, they gon' you better
I'm
watch
telling
them now.
you, they have come.
They don't like you messing with me. They don't like you messing with me now. I'm telling you. I'm warning you for the last time.
We are friends.
Cause those little love hearts be like pitchforks.
They are not going to send me pitchforks.
Okay, keep talking. They defecting.
They're not defect. Okay, how are you defecting? I didn't say they left your page and came to mine.
You were all laid in the back talking about, hey, boo. Hey, what the hell is all that? Hey, boo.
I said they came.
Mostly females on there. Anyway,
I said they, no.
I
No,
see that
not
on
the
my
ones that
thing.
have come over to my face.
Well, you can
But-
have them. All right. So, you go right ahead. Go
Thank
right
you.
ahead. Yeah,
Thank
no, I
you.
ain't got
Thank
nobody.
you. Thank you.
But we have to take responsibility
Oh, absolutely.
for our own health. And as I was saying that, my Facebook friends know about my journey with the diabetes and how I'm destroying that disease. You know that, don't
Yeah, you are.
I'm
You are destroying.
killing
He's
it.
doing a good job. He
I'm
really is.
killing it down to a half a pill. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying?
You're gonna be diabetes free by Christmas.
Hey, that's what I want. And listen, I got no choice. And let me tell you why. Can I tell you this story? I've been wanting to tell this story ever since it's been on the radio.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and tell the story.
Let me tell you what really got me over to ridding this disease. I left LA to go to Buffalo, do my musical. I did that. So it was up there for a year. Now I've come to Atlanta to redo it and do other stuff now that I found out I'm going to be staying here. And I was out of medication, right? I was out of medication.
Really?
And so I'm calling my doctor, right? You know, hey, doc, no problem. I need a refill. And I wasn't getting through. I'm like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
He wasn't answering?
Well, he didn't call me back. You know, he didn't call me back. Now, this is serious,
That
y'all. I
is
want you to pay
serious.
attention to this. This is serious. He said, are you single? Yeah, I'm single, Chris, since you live. Since I'm live. She said, are you breathing? Okay, then are you single?
I think somebody's
Tess, you
asking
know I'm
Chris out
single.
for a date. Okay, well.
Okay, Tess, Tess is cool.
Okay,
I ain't
well,
mind
you
giving
might
Tess
wanna-
a run.
He'll
But
call,
anyway.
he'll call you.
Anyway, so didn't call me. So they called me back, right? And they go, sorry, Mr. Pierman, we're not going to be able to accommodate you.
Really?
No, this is real, right? So
Oh,
I said,
wow.
no, wait a minute. What do you mean not
What do you
able to
mean?
accommodate? Well, you're going to have to come in. I said, I can't come in. I just, I'm in Buffalo. I'm going down to Atlanta. I'm not going back out to LA. You know what I'm saying? And they said, we were sorry. We're not going to be able to. So I said, wow, you know what? I said, that's cool. I said, because what got in my mind right now is like, anything can happen that's going to, my life is at, I'm depending on, my life is in your hands,
It
man.
is. That is
And
so true.
that cannot happen ever again. So I became drastic. You'll ask me, can you eat that, Chris? And I'm very strict.
Yeah, he's very strict with his
I'm
diet.
very strict, man.
Yeah.
I'm down to my weight
And
that
focused.
I want to be.
I appreciate that about you.
Yeah,
Very focused.
Yeah,
And he has helped me a lot.
so, you've been losing a lot of weight. You look good. I'm gonna give it to you.
Thank you.
But it makes you feel good.
It does make you feel good.
Yeah.
I feel so sexy in my clothes. I'm like, ooh, I don't know who you getting me ready for, but hey, thank you.
I don't know. You said they got defectors over there. Give them a call. So
See, you keep calling them defectors. They're not defectors. They're still your friend.
But before you lay all back into the groove. But anyway, let me tell you the story. You're funny. You're funny. Now, can I finish my story?
Yes,
you never let me
the
finish my story.
No, I want to hear your story, Chris. Okay.
So I said, Doc, I can't do it. My life is at stake, and I really don't appreciate you doing this. I'm going to tell you one time, man. Just fulfill my order, and just make it happen. And he was like, oh, okay. I said, oh, you playing game. So I said, okay. So I started then to really get drastic.
Yeah.
And I was taking 4 medications a day.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm down to, a half a pill, twice. I break one pill, but break it in half in the morning, whatever. Before I was taking more than that. So I'm going to be diabetic free. And let me tell you, and why we want to take care of ourselves. For example, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember I told you the story? Remember that black lady who was in the house that was overweight, diabetic, but the power went out, couldn't get away, and couldn't get the insulin. She gonna die. Right?
So how long can people go without their medication? How long?
I mean, I think that depends on the individual, number one. But number two is that, first of all, she's sitting up at the bed, 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't protect yourself. Now, I'm not saying this can't come upon you. You can be skinny and have that. But I'm just saying.
I've seen skinny people with diabetes.
Okay, right. But I'm just saying the best that you can, though.
Yeah.
To take care of yourself, to eat well, to exercise, to get your rest, stay away from people that got you all stressed out and stuff. Because when it comes down to it, and I say this to you sometime and you'll go, Chris, it's I and team. But You have to take care of yourself.
I in team.
No, look. I in team. There's no I in team.
There is no I in team. I keep telling Chris B, there is no I in team. You got to take one for the team.
So he's about all that. Take the bullet.
I didn't say take a bullet for the team, but sometimes you do have to take one for the team.
Well, we do. You and I take I take a. No, I ain't gonna take no bullet, but I would take a punch. I would take a punch for you. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's sweet.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And would you take a punch for me?
I might take a tap.
Why you got to choke on it?
A tap, not a punch.
A tap.
Yeah.
That's
and
cheap.
It should be right here.
See, that is so messed up. That is so. I thought we was like that. You know, partners, ride or die.
We are ride or die partners for the business. For the business. That's right, ride or die for the business.
But you know what though? Listen. You know, you're a good partner for the business. Anyway, so we have to take responsibility for ourselves.
Yes.
Eat well.
Yeah,
eat well.
You do.
You know,
nobody can do that for you.
Eat real food. That's all you have to do. Nothing wrong with real food. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But some people don't know, Crispy. They just don't know what's good food and what's not. Because, you know, I think most of us have, for the most part, the diets that we had when we were children. You know, unless we travel. You know, I know for me, traveling is what exposed me to different types.
But let's go back when you said our diet as children.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good diet as children because my mom, they went to the farmer, they bought real food, they cooked it when we got home. You understand what I'm saying?
But is that the real story for the average Joe?
No, but you said, but what you said was, you know, and if I put that on me, I'm saying I did because listen, we can go to McDonald's maybe once a month. That was a treat to us. Parents now make that as the daily meal, right? Do you ever see the movie Super Size Me?
No.
Oh my God! You didn't?
Mm-mm. I saw advertisement and stuff, but I didn't actually sit down.
It was about a man who ate McDonald's for like 30 days, 40 days, something like that. Heart blew up, liver blew up, damn near died. You know what I'm saying? You can put a Happy Meal in a paper bag, put it on the counter, and it won't change for 10 years.
You gotta be kidding.
Oh, they got proof of it. What the hell kind of show is that? You
Okay, so this is the interesting part. Y'all don't see any wine. There is no wine on the table today. And look at you.
And you are nervous. If y'all don't see the cooking show, y'all know what she means.
I am not nervous. I'm good. Although the last show was a little iffy.
Yeah, you. Wow.
One in
That's
one
Merlot.
in nine.
I told you.
That Merlot put me out,
Merlot.
y'all. That Merlot put me out. I'm a Malbec girl. Love me some Argentine Malbec. But that wine was a good choice, Crispy.
It's
good. I give it to you. I give it to you.
I will bring the noise. So taking care of ourselves. That's why in our cooking show we're cooking good food, real food, healthy food. I don't want to be a part of the problem, you know.
Or your demise.
Or someone else's demise, you know. It's like, right. Yeah, get this tilapia sandwich for you. We ain't gonna do that. You know, we're gonna have real food. All right, talk about where we going?
So you didn't finish about Cosby, you know. So you were telling us that. So when Cosby was accused, picture went up, you know, and basically they crucified him. You know, he was guilty before, you know, he was even proven guilty. But these men that are coming up, even 45 was talking about one of the guys that was not convicted, but that has been charged and saying, you know, negative things. It's like you want to how can you talk?
Oh, you're talking about Al Franken?
Al Franken, right. And Al Franken.
Al Franken busted, though. He got the photo.
They have a photo of
It's the photo you grabbing her breasties, bruh, while she sleep. Go home.
Really?
Yeah, and I think maybe was she married at the time? Go home, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, go home. And then Trumpy has got something to say. Mm-hmm. And it's like, really, bruh, when you was grabbing the poo nanny, you know, and bragging about it, that's awesome.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
But this all leads into one of the things that's really big in Atlanta and quite frightening. It's one of my platforms that I'm really working to fight, and that's human trafficking. You know?
Yes, you brought that up the other day.
Yeah.
Please tell us a little bit of the story, your experience with it.
Well, you know, as a flight attendant, oftentimes, you know, on the airplane, you see people, but you really don't know what you're looking at. I had a friend that was flying Russia, and she was flying these girls back, and she was trying to tell them, you are not coming here to be a model. And those girls were convinced they were coming to be models and all of that. And in many cases, I can't say all, they were being trafficked to the United States to be prostitutes.
Oh my goodness.
And one of the things that's really good is the Congressional Black Caucus in Georgia worked to put signs in hotels so that if any woman feels in danger or she feels trafficked, there's numbers and there's information and resources for her to be able to contact somebody. But the thing about it, Chris B, that's so deep is that many people think that human trafficking only happens to runaways. They think it only happens to wayward girls. And I heard a story about a woman who was shopping in Walmart, and she was on one aisle shopping, and her daughter was on the other aisle looking at magazines. And the mother heard these two guys walk past her daughter and say, how much do you think we can get for her? So girls are being snatched and grabbed and forced into prostitution.
Well, I think it was a couple of months ago they had found this semi-trailer. You remember? And all the people in there were dead when they found it. Human trafficking.
Human trafficking. So human trafficking, so there's human trafficking for work, but there's also human trafficking for sex. So a lot of people are bringing foreigners over, and they're having them work, and they're slaves. They can't go home. They've taken their passport. I think it was addressed in a TV show called American Crime with the workers, and they really addressed how, you know, people were thinking from these countries that are poor that they're going for a job, and they get to the United States, and they've been trafficked. The people take away their passports, and that's it. And it's nothing, absolutely nothing that they can do about it. I read another story. A lady sent her daughter to the beauty shop in New York. Always sends her daughter to the beauty shop. She goes after school. The girl was walking down the street. A guy walked up to her and started talking. They snatched her and put her in the car. Good-looking young girl. And see, a lot of this is happening, and people, again, think it's only happening to runaways. But this can happen to women in their 20s, in their 30s. And so this particular girl, they had her, I want to say, for a month. And again, she was being raped over and over again. When they snatched her, they blindfolded her and took her to the location, so she didn't know where she was, and they kept her blindfolded the whole time. And she was doing sex acts and you know, paying, you know, that the people who kidnapped her were getting paid for her. And she got sick. She got sick, and they took her naked and dropped her right back in the city of New York in the middle of the street where they found her. And so
my goodness.
She was able to tell what happened to her, but she wasn't able to give up anybody because she never saw what they looked like. She blindfolded the whole time.
You know, sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in our own personal lives, we forget there's some hell going on, man. For example, you shot me this about local pastors that face a new charge involving sex trafficking. I'm just going to read this a little bit. Pastors. You know, they tell you, you know, they was teaching you
They
Jesus.
was praying, wasn't they,
yeah,
Chris B? They wasn't praying P-R-A-Y-I-N-G. They was P-R-E-Y-I-N-G.
Exactly.
Praying.
Toledo, Ohio, a third Ohio pastor has been indicted on sex trafficking charges, and prosecutors say all three men worked together to entice underage girls with money in exchange for sex. A federal grand jury in Toledo has indicted the Reverend Cordell Jenkins, the Reverend Anthony Haynes, and the Reverend Kenneth Butler on conspiracy to sex traffic children. All three men pleaded not guilty Tuesday. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Haynes began grooming a 14-year-old girl for prostitution in 2014. Prosecutors say Haynes introduced her to other men, and all three of the pastors sexually assaulted her. Jenkins and Haynes were previously indicted on child sex trafficking charges in July. An attorney representing Jenkins tells WTVG-TV her client understands he is facing some very serious allegations. No, homie, you know that you facing, you about to get busted. And because when you mess with the children, man, I mean, even like the hardest criminals, man, you just don't do that.
No.
You know, I mean, just for some money.
For money.
You know.
But there are so many organizations that you can turn to if you'd like to pick this up as a personal platform. One of the things that I'm doing with my fly girls and fly guys is I have a Facebook page, Flight Attendants Against Human Trafficking, to provide resources and information to my flying partners. If you see something, say something, do something. There was an incident where a flight attendant saw human trafficking, alerted the authorities, and they met the flight, and the young lady was saved.
That's what.
So you may be able to save somebody's life. And so we've put on our Facebook page and in 50 Plus, Blue Lightning, which is the government initiative against human trafficking. So I hope you're able to check it out and maybe volunteer.
You know, I am so impressed with you. You just, you talk it, you walk it, you drink it. I think that we're.
Water.
I think we're going to a commercial. Is that correct? She said, okay, she's still a little unconscious. We're going to, because she did the universal wrap.
The universe, isn't that this is the universe, like even when you want to reel somebody in and you're trying to wrap it up.
When you knock yourself out, she's either, she did that and then pointed to me, which is,
you're nuts.
Chris, you crazy. Okay, then she just shook her head and said, yeah, I'm crazy.
So she was doing this, and you thought it was
I thought it was that, so I was saying we need to go to a commercial.
No, we're not going to a commercial yet.
Good, because I want to talk some more about it, because we got perverts, we've got child molesters, we've got all this coming into our government, and should we be proud of that? I mean, just think about it. I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't there already. I'm simply saying that it's really coming out now, and people losing their jobs while you're playing, because Kevin Spacey, you know, he got
House of Cards. You know, the actors. I just want to shout out my ATL actors are traumatized because that was one of the shows that many of us. I've had several House of Cards auditions. I didn't book anything yet from House of Cards, but that was okay. Oh,
they didn't see the quality of it. That's their loss. That's why they're going off the air. They didn't get me.
My shout.
That's right. Go ahead.
But anyway, so that show is going off the air due to Kevin Spacey, and a lot of people don't even want to work with him now. So you can really, I mean, this is something that's very important to me, Crispy. I don't know if you have recognized this in me. Did you know my name means integrity?
No, I knew God.
It's the female image of God, which is integrity. Veronica is the female image of God, and means integrity. And so,
did you know what Christopher is?
I know. What does that mean?
Christ-like. Why y'all laughing?
No. Christopher is not Christ-like. Christ is in your name. So did you just kind of make that up? No, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to look up and see what Christopher. I'm gonna ask the producer when she get a minute to look up Christopher and tell us exactly what Christopher means. But I was going back to Kevin Spacey and integrity. Your name is all you have.
Yes.
Your good name, and when you do things that mess up your name, you lose your shows, you lose your integrity, and people don't trust you. You're no longer trustworthy. And I think
but I'm going to tell you, though. I would not be surprised if Kevin Spacey comes back.
Really? And gets away with it?
Let me just tell you why. There's certain people that fail upwardly. Black folk fail off.
Well, wait a minute
I'm just saying.
There is one.
Who?
Vanessa Williams.
I don't consider that a fail.
For that time period, it was.
Whatever.
Okay, so I got the meaning of Christopher. So let's talk about it. The name Christopher is a Greek baby name. In the Greek meaning of the name Christopher, it is a word meaning carrier of Christ.
It's even better than I
Famous bearer. Saint Christopher, patron of saint travelers.
See?
To have carried the child Christ across a river.
Carrying me across the river. You understand? I told you that.
Carried the Christ across the river.
Me. So when we get to the puddle, I want you to carry me, V, because why are you laughing, V? Why Why you laughing?
No,
you just read what my name
excuse me,
meant.
You're the carrier,
Huh?
so the expectation is that you carry me across the puddle. You're the carrier, Chris B. You are the carrier. You can't frame
much
that.
you learn, they still want to knock you down.
Yeah, that's not a knockdown. That's a come up.
Christ is in my...
Hey, look, that's a come up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, no, I was just kidding. I'm not concerned. People be out there. He think he cries. You know, and I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't.
You have to be careful with that.
Yeah. I'm just kidding, and I play a lot. All right, I do. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
He's a teaser.
But call me Christ.
Teaser, pleaser. So, moving on.
Yes, ma'am.
Go back to what you were saying about Spacey. Why do you think he's going to get out of it?
Because I think it's just a matter of time. You know, I think they're going to let the time go because people in general has an attention span about as long as a mosquito.
People do get amnesia. That is true.
Quickly. But black people, they remember you for election.
No, they don't. Now when it comes to elections.
Wait now.
Because they put Bush 2 back in office.